Hey guys, today we're going to make one of these wire wrapped bracelet cuffs. So I'm going to make a similar one to this one here with the heart crystal in the middle and some beads on each side. I've got a couple of other ones here. This one's got a quartz crystal in the middle and some beads on either side. This one here is just the beads. So you can see it's pretty versatile what you can do with these, just whatever you've got on hand. And I've got two widths here. The left hand ones are 6mm wide and that right hand one is 9mm wide. So today I've just got a 6mm one here we're going to do, and it's got a protective layer on each side, so I'll just peel them off. Then you need to be a little bit careful that you don't scratch it. These blanks here are 14 gauge aluminium and they are about 15 centimeters or 6 inches long. And this one here is a 6mm wide one. Then I've got a little green adventurine heart here, and this is 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. And then my little beads on each side, I got some smoky quartz here today, and they are 6mm beads. Our wire that we're using today is a 24 gauge silver wire. And I've got a bracelet bender here, but if you don't have one of those, you can use a bottle or something that you find around your house that's round and small. So to start off with, we just measure about 45 inches of wire and cut that to length. So with these bracelet blanks, it depends. I mean, you could use a bangle or a cuff that you've already got, might be already bent. That would be okay as well. But for these flat ones, if you want to get your design in the middle, you need to work from the middle outwards. Otherwise, I just find it's too hard to get it perfectly in the middle. So start with finding the middle of your wire, and then if you're using a bead, you just thread that on to the wire and then start using the middle. With this here, I'm putting the heart in the middle, so I've just got to hold that on there nice and tight and then start wrapping around the heart and the blank just to hold it on there. Just gently working from each side to wrap that heart on there securely. So just going from the left hand side at the bottom to the right hand side at the top, and then alternating with your other wire as well. So you can flip it over and make sure it's sort of being held on there each part. You just need to make sure that there's no hole there anywhere where that little heart is going to be able to slip through. So just make sure you're wrapping it each way. Then when you're happy that your heart's on there nice and tight, just grab one of the wires and start wrapping on each side. So pulling them nice and tight so that your heart is on there nice and securely, and just keep checking that it is. You can move those wires a little bit if you need to, but just make sure it can't go anywhere. If it can, you're going to want to wrap around the heart a bit more before you start working out to the edges. So I'm going to start now with our beads. So I'm going to put 3 on each side. But like I said, it's a pretty versatile design, so you can just choose what you want to pop on here. So I've already wrapped that wire around twice in between the heart and this first bead. So I pop my bead on and then I'm going to wrap around twice again. So I wrap around twice, and then it's on the third time wrapping around that I put another bead on. And just make sure that that goes into the center of your blank, and then wrapping around twice, and then it's on this third time around that I'll put my last bead on for this side. Into the middle again, and then just wrapping it around. So I'm going to end up wrapping it around more times because this is the end one. So I just sort of squeezing it down each one, then I can sort of swap on to wrapping the bracelet blank around and round and round so that it's on there nice and securely. Okay, so now we can work on the other end. So just make sure you're doing it evenly. Whatever you wrapped around on the other side is what you want to wrap around this one. So I've sort of done just 2 wraps and then put my bead on the third. So just making sure that it's the same there. And then I can pop my first bead on. So 1 and 2, and this is the third, so I'll put my bead on this one here. And 1 and 2, and this is the third one, so I can put my last bead on there. So just making sure as you go along that your wires are pulled nice and tight and sort of pushing them down close so that your design stays together. And then wrapping it around about the same amount of times as you wrapped it on the other end, just so it can be nice and even. So when you're happy with it, making sure it's all on there nice and tight and you're ready to finish up your ends of wire. Then I like to just cut my wire down enough that I've got enough to turn a little piece there. So just turning a piece downwards. Then I'm going to slide that piece underneath one of the pieces of wire that's going across the blank. And that will secure it in place. So if you can just manipulate the wires a little bit so that you can get that wire down underneath, and that'll keep it nice and hidden. And then just crimp your wires down, make sure they're all nice and tight and securing that piece of wire down. Okay, now to the other end as well, and just do the same thing. So when you've wrapped it around enough, just cut it with enough length that you can bend a little piece downwards, and then you can work your wires so that you can get that little tail piece down underneath the wires to secure it. Sometimes it takes a little bit of working them to get them down, but you really do need to get them underneath so that you can tuck it under, and that's what secures the piece of wire down. So when you're happy with that, just crimp it down. So now if you don't have a bracelet bender, you can just use something around your house. These are 14 gauge aluminium blanks, so they're quite easy to bend. I've got one of these bracelet benders as well, but I could easily do it without. So I just pop it in the end of the bracelet bender and then bend it around till we make a cuff shape. And then just making sure all your design is nice and straight and everything's on there how you like it. And then you can pop it on.